Hey, just a quick explainer video on our DC series controllers. They all have the same temperature controller built into them. So regardless if you're using our 2-circuit, 4-circuit, or 8-circuit panel, this operation will be the same. So first of all, we've got our auto function, and when we turn that on, that's going to pick up the outside temperature. We're on our shop panel here, so inside our shop, it's reading about 57 degrees currently. It's winter here, so it's kind of cold in our shop. But that's going to read outside temperature. The temp probe does go outside in an area that's shaded, usually a northern exposure. It's going to read outside temperature, and it's going to have the heat cables energized at between roughly 5 and 35 degrees. That's our factory settings. It is possible to change those settings, so we're going to take a look at that right here. So you hit the set button, and you're going to get this value that's going to come up. 39 degrees, it's going to flash, and it's going to have this little dot under out 1. That's the high temp set value. Now, it's important to remember that this is the temperature at which it shuts off when it rises above. There's a 4-degree offset. It's called the hysteresis, and that's going to turn the heat cables on when it drops below 4 degrees under that, or 35 degrees. This is adjustable, so you can arrow up or arrow down or arrow up to set it to what you want. Just bear in mind that 4-degree hysteresis. It's going to turn on 4 degrees under that set temperature. When you're happy with where it's at, or if you want to leave it there, you can hit set once again, and it's going to show up with the set value for the low temp cutout. Now again, this has a hysteresis built into it. So it's going to turn off 4 degrees under that. It's going to re-energize when it rises back up above 9 degrees. And again, this is completely adjustable. You can turn it down or you can turn it up. If you want to disable this low temp cutout feature, you can simply hold, and it's going to go at a faster pace. And you can set this down to like -99 if you want. And that's going to, in effect, disable the low temp cutout. So it would never turn off on the low temp. And that's kind of useful for areas perhaps where you get a lot of lake effect snow and the lows that come in after that, you want the system to stay on. You can use that feature. It's completely field adjustable. Once you're happy with that, you hit set once again. It's automatically flashed into memory. So no further saving functions are needed. Once that's all set up, you're ready to go on that, then you can turn it back to off. When you're ready to use this system in the winter, prior to doing that, you're going to want to do a preseason test on this controller or on any of your systems. The way you do that is, even if it's warm, you're end of October, in November, you want to be able to make sure everything's ready to go. You can turn it to manual. Now when it turns to manual, you're going to see the light come on right here, a heat cable on light, and nothing's going to light up on the temperature display. That's going to bypass the display, and it's going to be on just like flipping an on switch on. It's going to be on no matter what the temperature is. So once you've got it in the manual position, it's sending power to the heat cables. You can check your EPD units that come with it, and it can be either an EPD, which is going to provide the ground fault protection in this unit alone. As long as these don't trip, where you would see a fault show up, a fault light show up, that would mean there's some sort of damage to the heat cable, perhaps animal damage, contractor damage, tree branch falling on the roof damage. So any of those could be it, or possibly water in the junction box. Maybe you've had some pressure washing done and they could have blasted water in the junction box, or just rain getting into a junction box. All of that could cause a fault on the system. But what we've got here, once you do that, you can fire up, you hit test, you hit reset. If you've got no trips on the system, everything's good. You can go ahead and turn the system back to the off position. You've got all of your preseason testing done. You can go back and set it to the center position, the off position on the controller, and you're all ready to go for your winter season. When you start anticipating snow or when you want the system on, go ahead and set it to auto. If you don't want to operate the system in the auto function, you just want to turn it on occasionally or at your own command, all you need to do is use the manual on function of the controller, and you can turn it on and off based on your own criteria. However, we always recommend that you have the heat cable system on prior to snow falling so it has a chance to warm up. And then while there's substantial snow on the roof, because ice dams aren't always the result of just the initial snowfall, but can often be the result of the gradual melting that happens through heat loss, through solar gain and temperature fluctuations, the days and weeks after the snow has fallen, and that can run down to the roof edge and build ice. And it's always easier to keep ice from forming than it is to melt ice once it's been formed. So you can use the manual function to turn the system on and off at your choosing, or if you don't want to think about it, set it to auto. Please check out our other helpful videos in our how-to series by Edge Melt Systems. Certainly thanks for taking the time to watch, and don't forget to subscribe.